Hey y'all, Myria Com here again. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you listening. It means a lot to me, actually. Even though I'm not very good at like marketing or anything like that, and this is not like something I am doing to try and make money or get a lot of traction or anything like that. I really do appreciate anyone who does decide to tune in and listen to me rambling about whatever the heck I decide I have to say today. That really does mean something to me. It means a lot to see that anyone is interested in listening. So, thanks. I appreciate that. So the big main idea I had. Sorry, we're gonna move away from the queerness for a little while. I do kind of want to go back to that, but was trying to do a recording yesterday about being a non-binary, and not only did I realize it's not necessarily as interesting of a topic for me, not that I think it doesn't matter, but my story is just not as interesting as my story about discovering that I am demisexual. I don't think that was necessarily very interesting either, but there were more twists and turns in that one, and just, like, overall, it's just a more interesting story. Realizing that, like, my non-binary identity is just a little less interesting, so, in those terms. But I will talk about that in a different recording if y'all are interested. You can let me know in the comments if you are interested in that. I will probably do a recording on it anyway at some point, but yeah. What I was going to talk about today is something I wasn't planning on talking about a whole lot more, but here we are. You may, if you have been listening to my recordings regularly, you may remember that I did a recording where I read a bunch of cards that my mom has sent me over the past year that I have been no contact with my parents. And so you may remember that that's a thing that happened. And in that recording, I basically, said that I probably need to send her a text or something like that indicates, where I'm at, since she seems to think that, this is just fixable by her just saying, we have different opinions, and that is okay, and that is actually good. So talk to me again. She seems to think that that's okay, and that's gonna fix everything. And as I said in that recording, that fixes nothing. It addresses absolutely nothing. And, again, it's not just having a different opinion. A lot of the core issues I have with my parents that I outlined in my letter to them, and like I said, I could have done a better job. I was emotional when I was writing it, and I was emotional with every draft I wrote, so probably wasn't the best, and I could do better, but I did say a lot of my issues are things like homophobia, transphobia, racism, things like that. And for me, and I would think for anybody, that's not just a difference of opinion. You being a racist makes you a bad person. It's not like, favorite pizza toppings is a difference of opinion. Favorite colors, difference of opinion. Whether or not someone is valid because of their race is not a difference of opinion. If you think they aren't, then you're a bad person. Whether or not someone is valid based on their sexual orientation or their gender identity is not a difference of opinion. If you think they aren't, you're a bad person. So, I had said something to the effect of, I guess I'm gonna have to send her a text or something, and, with an ultimatum of, if you, unless you do this, or if you can't do this, or something like that, we will never talk again. That's just how it's gonna be. Well, I've mentioned since then that I have chickened out, and I have not done that. I think, and I've kind of been, it's been on my mind a lot, unfortunately. It has been causing me to lose sleep, unfortunately. Guess I really just shouldn't have read any of those cards, and I especially shouldn't have read that note. So, that's on me. That's my fault. I made a dumb choice, and I did a thing that has caused me grief, and I need to get past it. So, in trying to get past it, here's what I have come to. I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about why it is bothering me so much. Aside from the fact that, it's just frustrating and annoying. So here is what I have come to. It bothers me because giving an ultimatum is an ultimatum. And it puts a finality to it. Because the problem is I don't expect them to be willing to do what I want them to do. I don't expect them to be willing to do it. They haven't up until this point. As my mom's note proves, they are unwilling to reflect at all and think about why this is happening. And yeah. It's pretty clear that they are unwilling. They just want to bury their heads in the sand and act like there is no problem. And just continue to say this is just a difference of opinion, but that's okay, and we can have a difference of opinion. In my actual opinion, we cannot. So, that is an actual opinion. I don't think we can. I cannot. I cannot be around them knowing that these are the beliefs they hold. How can you have a conversation with someone who thinks that indigenous folks are lesser than they are simply because of the color of their skin, simply because of the fact that they have a different culture, etc.? I cannot be around them. I cannot hold a conversation with them. I cannot think of a single thing to talk about that doesn't involve their stupid beliefs somehow. How can you have any kind of conversation without any of that coming into it? I don't know how you can. Especially in the world we live in right now. So, yeah. I just don't... There is no way I can have a relationship with them if they are going to continue to hold these beliefs. There's no way I can have a relationship with them if they are going to continue to support the things and the people they support. And while I know that is true, in the back of my mind, I already know that that is true, giving them an ultimatum about it, literally telling them, and I don't think I'm going to do it in a text message. I think I'm going to do it in another letter or another note. And I'm just going to be very direct and say, this is the ultimatum. If you do not meet this ultimatum, we will never speak again. Because that is call me selfish, but it's about me. I have to be able to be comfortable around them. I have to be able to... I already have anxiety and depression, largely because of them. Because of them, both, genetically, and also because of stuff that has happened in my past when I was growing up. Stuff that has happened with them since then, etc. And being around them, and talking to them, and thinking about them just makes it worse. And maybe they don't understand that. I don't really care if they understand that. I don't think they're ever going to understand any of this, and I think that is because they don't want to, and willful ignorance is their MO. So, that's just the fact of the matter right now. That's just where we are at, and where it's going to be forever, as far as I am concerned. But, so, I know all of that, but putting an ultimatum on it feels very final. And maybe it should. I just really don't want to have to worry about them trying to contact me anymore. I don't want to have to worry about, are they going to send me a card? And then I'll have to sit here and stare at the card and just think, okay, do I open this or do I not? And because like, the thing is, I expected that last card that I opened from my mom. I expected it to pretty much be what it was. It's a little more disappointing than I expected, but I expected for it to be disappointing. However, because I am human, there was that little bit of hope that maybe they got it. Maybe they got at least some of it. Maybe they will acknowledge some of it. And the problem is it acknowledged absolutely none of it. And that is the part that really frustrates me and is incredibly disappointing. It just skirted over everything, and that is the problem. But, yeah. So every time I get a card from them, every time I get anything from them, it's just like, okay, I don't know what the point of this is. It just frustrates me, and I sit there, even if I don't open them, because that's the thing, I hadn't opened any of them really up until that point. I had opened a couple of them, but that was it. And I had not done anything with them, but they were sitting on my shelf and I knew they were there. And I couldn't just throw them away. I'm too nosy. So I can't just throw them away. That's the problem. And yeah, I just don't want to have to think about it anymore. I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. I can look back on happy memories from the past that involve my parents, but there's always that undertone of, yeah, but they also kind of sucked. Yeah, but this is also a thing that happened. Yeah, but they are terrible people now. And maybe they have always been terrible people and I just didn't notice it. You know, that kind of stuff. So it's hard because it puts like a finality to it. But also, I want it to be final. I want to know one way or the other. But that's the thing, I will never know one way or the other. Because, they are always going to be there. Even if I'm not in contact with them, they're always going to be there. I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard thing. I don't enjoy having to try and figure this out. So much of adulthood is just me being like, ugh, why do I have to figure out how this works? And I think that's just what adulthood is for most people, but I didn't realize that when I was younger. I thought I would become an adult and everything would be figured out and I wouldn't have to worry about it. I would find a job that I would like and I would be happy, and I would find the right place to be, and I would find, all of that stuff, and there would be no more question marks anymore. How silly of me. I should have known better, but I didn't, so yeah. And this is one thing in particular where I'm just like, this is hard. And again, as I said in that long recording where I read those cards, it's not just about me. It's largely about me and my own comfort and what makes me happy and what is good for me and my mental and emotional health. But it's also about them, because the way they are and the kinds of people they are and the beliefs they hold anger me so much and disappoint me so much that I don't know that at some point something physical won't happen. It almost did the last, at the time that I decided I could not be in contact with them anymore. I almost got physical, and I don't want that to happen, both for me and for them. I mean, that would hurt them emotionally too, wouldn't it? That's the thing, is they just want to forget that happened too, and I don't want to just forget that happened. So, I don't know. I don't know how they think this is really gonna work. I don't know how they think it's just gonna magically be fine. How are they not constantly thinking about that? How would they not constantly think about that if I was around them? I almost beat the crap out of them. How would that not come into their mind every time they're around me? If it doesn't, they are weird fucking people. I don't know. It's just very confusing and frustrating to me. I don't understand why they can't just accept that this is how it's going to be, and they just are not going to have a relationship with me anymore. I don't know why they can't accept that. I don't know why they can't handle that. It's just reality at this point. I don't know why they can't wrap their heads around it. And I don't know what the next... It's frustrating because what is the right next step? There is no right answer in this situation because someone is going to be hurt no matter what happens. Even me cutting them off is hurting me. Like, I'm not sitting here like, hooray, happy-go-lucky, I never have to deal with my parents again. That's not my reaction to it. My reaction to it is, this still hurts. I am losing my parents. Were they great to me? No, but they're still my parents. And that is still hard. And I do still think about it quite a bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it that much until I read those stupid cards, but anytime anyone else talks about their parents, or anyone, like at work, a lot of people have kids, anytime they talk about their kids, I do think about the fact that I am not in contact with my parents. And it is hard. It feels like there's a chunk of my life that is missing. But then again, it's not a good chunk of my life all the time. And in fact, most of the time lately, it has not been. When I was in contact with them, still, we did not have a good relationship the last couple of years I was in contact with them. Our relationship was not good. They seem to have forgotten that. I don't know. I just don't know what the right next choice is, and I feel like I know that they will say giving them an ultimatum is unfair, but I honestly don't really care that much. Like, I do care, but I mostly care because they will try and gaslight me into that being a bad thing and that being a wrong thing. I am giving them a choice. I am giving them an option. If you want to be in contact with me again, this is what you have to do. If they aren't willing to do that, then what else? Then that's their choice. They are making that choice. It is not just on me then. Like, in that case, part of why I think that is what I should do is that it's not just me choosing to cut them off then. It is them making a choice that they cannot do what I need. And that is a choice. And then that is, like, they can't just blame me then. They still will. But they realistically can't at that point. And at least that would give them, like, I don't know, maybe they just need something very direct. I was not direct enough in my last letter to them, I guess. Yeah, I just feel like I'm rambling and going around in circles now. That is the decision I have come to. I don't think it's going to happen until this weekend. Work has been too crazy this week. I did not get a lot of sleep last night, etc. and so forth. So, it's a thing. But I am going to try and do that this weekend. I don't want to waste my weekend doing dumb things like that, but I have fun things to do this weekend too, assuming I have the energy for them. So there's that. But that is what I have come to. Hurrah. Thank you for being a sounding board, dear listener, so that I could come to that conclusion. I kind of already had come to that conclusion, but it helps to talk it out, even if I'm just talking it out with myself and whoever decides to listen on YouTube. Yeah. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a sounding board. I do appreciate that. It does mean a lot to me. Some likes and comments would be great, but I'm not gonna bank on that happening. Because I know I am not good at encouraging engagement. I don't think I'm that interesting. Maybe you do, but I don't. And yeah, this has been my Ria Com, coming to a conclusion about what to do next, about being no contact with my parents. And I will chat at you again soon. Bye.